So, we saw a movie.
Yeah, we saw a movie.
Yeah. We saw The Dark Tower.
Yes, we did.
And unlike these two and like my other people that went with us, well, I mean, a couple of us have read the books, but I'm the only one in the video here who has.
That is correct.
Read the books.
I have not read the books. Animates.
To be fair, the books are long and there's a lot of content, and there's a lot of content that is missed.
Wait, before I go further, we should introduce ourselves because we have a guest. We have a guest in the back.
Yes, don't forget me.
Yeah. So Chris and John, a fistful of gamers.
Yep, I'm your deputy.
Yeah, exactly. And the sheriff and all that.
And this is our special guest, Daniel, which he's almost like the Dark Man, basically, or Black Man, or
the Man in Black.
Man in Black, yes.
Right.
Forgive our lighting.
Anyways, yeah. So I guess we can start off with what, like, I guess what are your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts is I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun movie to watch. My only complaint was it felt fast paced. Like it felt
certainly.
The plot felt rushed, but not as in it felt like it was the pacing. That's it. The pacing of the movie felt like it was going much quicker than it's like they're doing something, and then next thing you know, they're already doing something else, and it just keeps going. It's really fast, and if you're not paying attention, you can miss literally if you look away, you can just miss something, and it's like you miss a lot of that story for the Dark Tower in a second.
Yeah, certainly.
But it also feels like they were trying to cover a lot of characters, a lot of plot, a lot of story in a matter of however length they had.
What I guessed, which ended up being for the most part true when I saw the trailer for the film, was that they were mostly taking from the first book, but they were also incorporating some of the story that is involved within the last book. And there's a lot of ground that is covered within the books that they had to find kind of interesting ways to skip over. And ultimately, they didn't reach the end of the story from the books, but in an interesting way that I wasn't necessarily expecting. The books very much followed the story of Roland the Gunslinger, but the movie was following the story of Jake.
Interesting. So,
the Gunslinger follows Roland, but the
Gunslinger is Roland.
Yeah. So what is Jake's in the books compared to the movies?
Well, interestingly enough, Jake that deals with Roland in the first book he kind of gets written back out of the story by the end of the first book.
Interesting.
And technically, a different Jake kind of ends up hanging out with him later.
Interesting.
But they didn't do that within the film, and instead chose to just kind of have it so it's like Jake did not end up dealing with some of the same situations that were dealt with in the book. I found, to step, I guess, a little bit away from that, I found it interesting that for those who have read the books, there was a lot of little bits and pieces that were important context within the novels that were displayed all over the movie. Like the fact that the portal, which is kind of built into a sense of technology in the film,
reminds me of Stargates.
It's not really like
a lot of Stargate. That reminds me of.
But the number 19 is very important in the books. So the fact that to get to the Midlands area where the gunslinger was currently traveling across the desert, using the number 19, that was very interesting. And even the closing scene within the film where they're walking back into the restaurant where they had come into Keystone Earth, on the rolled down security door next to the door that they walked in, there were images of roses.
Interesting.
And
what does that
I
mean?
did not notice that.
Yeah, so there was an image of 2 roses on the metal grating, and it's very important relating to the last book. In that the area around the Dark Tower itself, because they do eventually get to the Dark
Oh, that's
Tower.
so cool.
But the area around it is covered in these roses, and there's an important significance to a red rose relating to a story that has nothing to do with the film.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, I mean, I do, to get back on topic here, I do feel the same in that it was very rushed, but also it's like, I know the context of how much ground they needed to cover.
I see, that makes an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
But they are adapting a bigger length book into...
Well, whenever they do that with
I felt that they could have, as much as it would have been very hard for them to do it and build a film franchise to follow the book franchise. The first book, because it was written so long ago and was as much as Stephen King was very much writing to the future of more books within the series, it's able to summarize enough of its story that it very much closes a chapter within that book, which is not so much true in the newer books. So they could have
made a
built
franchise?
they could have built a film that was very much a singular story that only covered ground within the first novel's content.
Oh, I can see.
My one no, I had it in my mind. My one complaint was nope. I lost my mind.
Yeah, well,
I'll get back to you on that.
So, like I was saying, with symbology and everything like that, and how it's mostly pulling from the first and last books. So the location where the Men in Black's official portal that was taking all the kids and everything.
Those Men in Black were so creepy.
There was just one Men in Black, right?
Yeah, the wizard.
Okay, the wizard's the Men in Black.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey is the Man in Black.
It's not men, it's a man.
I think for me it was kind of
and the people
hard to differentiate.
The skin mask people were these rat-like humanoids that that worked for the Servants of Darkness.
Oh,
interesting.
Which are the Men in Black?
There are no men in black.
It's Men in Black.
Man in Black. Okay, see, since I don't know this,
that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're very much like the lackey figures, and they're more prevalent in the last book, and they're very closely tied to, if you know Stephen King novels, the book Hearts in Atlantis, and the main character, which in the film adaptation of that is played by Anthony Hopkins. He's a man who's actually jumping between the different worlds and avoiding these essentially like G-men type figures, which are the skin mask people.
It was so cool watching them go through the portals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked Matthew McConaughey's character.
Yeah, McConaughey did a great job.
Even though it was very short-lived, it felt like
I wish there was more development.
And honestly, he played a very more active role to how the Man in Black is portrayed within the books. The Man in Black is like, as much as like, yeah, he always seems to be one step ahead of the gunslinger in a lot of ways, and almost makes it seems to be like his life goal to just mess with Roland.
Messed up.
Because he was very intimidating and very like, he had a very methodical thought process.
Yeah, and like another connection to the books was his offhand comment towards the end of the film, where he actually brings up Roland's mother.
Interesting.
I heard that one.
Well, he's like, "Oh, your soft mother," in regards to like people that have fallen around Roland.
Yeah.
Okay.
But within the books, his mother had pretty much been seduced by the Man in Black.
Interesting.
And just kind of became a hollow shell afterwards, and eventually, I think, killed herself. It's been a bit since I read.
It reminds me a lot of Jessica Jones. I know the different states with the Purple Man. So he has that same like sinister feeling of the Purple Man, and it feels really good. Like I really enjoyed, even though it was short-lived, I really enjoyed Roland and Matthew McConaughey's, or the Men in Black's character, and their dancing around each other and their conflict.
Yeah,
it was
it's a very eternal struggle.
That was one thing in the movie.
Together.
It felt very strong,
much. Very tied together.
You could feel it. I mean, they did play on it a lot and used it a lot.
Interesting to watch.
And I mean, I think it was good that they were able to convey the fact that that the characters like have a long history and everything like that, because the books, they have the time to build that relationship that they have, and
but in movies you don't.
In the film, like, they did a good job as fast as and as short as the film was, because the film was less than 2 hours.
Yeah, so I think it was like 140 minutes. Sorry, not 140 minutes. That's 2 hours. It was like around 90 minutes, like 100 minutes, give or take.
Yeah, an hour 40-ish was
an hour 40 minutes.
Was the rough time frame.
Yeah,
and I mean, I was surprised that they went with as short of a film as it was.
Yeah, I feel
because
like
there was a lot of ground that they needed to cover, and like you were saying, they went very fast through a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I want to say I liked it, and I hope if they're smart, they will just let it be a single movie and not try to do anything else with it.
I remember my complaint,
because the story gets more complicated.
My one complaint about the movie, my major complaint, is that the movie was about the Dark Tower, and it really didn't feel like it touched upon the Dark Tower at all.
Yeah,
it was like it gave it a very vague feeling. I didn't feel a connection to the Dark Tower. There's a thing that needs to be destroyed.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that most of the source material is being pulled from the first book.
I see.
Which only vaguely mentions the fact that the Dark Tower itself is supposed to be the linchpin for these multiple universes. So and that the fall of it is the fall of life, essentially.
So you're kind of forced to feel for this tower that you don't know about. But other than that, it's like, the movie is a really fun movie. I really it felt really fun. The action was good. The CGI was really good. The humor was good.
Yeah,
it was spot on.
Even if you didn't think the movie would have humor, because if it's a really dark movie, because you think, and you know, the way the Man in Black works and how dark he is.
Yeah.
How they portray him.
But again, you know, because you don't have the books as context, he is also portrayed as an extremely charismatic character.
Interesting.
Like, he is someone who is very easily able to kind of
work his way in.
Be viewed as not necessarily a bad person until it's too late.
Interesting.
I mean, he's essentially supposed to be kind of a physical personification of almost like the devil on Earth.
Interesting.
Where, you know, it's
he
is an extremely charming individual, and he kind of lulls you into a sense of security.
And then takes what he wants.
But he's really just this horrible, heartless person.
Yeah, definitely. And you see it in the character that he's portraying as.
It was so sad when it was just like the things he did. It was just like, I was just like, why?
Yeah, and you know, he did it with like zero remorse.
Yeah, he's just like, whatever.
Well, the thing is, you did feel really, like, I guess I felt really sad for Jake when his mother died, which was really good. I was like, it's like you normally don't feel that for a secondary or even like just a mother character.
And even with the characters not,
because she wasn't even really built well.
Yeah, she barely had any lines.
Yeah,
so it's like you really did feel for Jake and the mother being.
But I mean, it was definitely portrayed that it's like he really did care for his mother.
Yes. So.
Even though she didn't have any faith in him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really made me sad, was that wasn't explained thoroughly. All the little details that were so interesting, like the tower,
and
they
also did they did a good job with the fact that the film was as short as it was. They did a good job.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Of not slowing themselves down by explaining things like mannerisms that they had in the town within like Roland's side of the universe, like, you know, certain phrases that people were saying back and forth to each other, and when the earthquake happens, which Roland just kind of offhand, he's just like, oh, it's just a beamquake. Yeah. Well, the viewer is able to see a visual representation of what the beam is supposed to be.
Yeah, so we can understand that.
So you can get it, but it's like, it makes a lot of sense within the books, and they did it in such a way that they didn't have to slow themselves down.
Yeah, which is definitely a good thing. They kept their, you know, it was fast paced. It kept the story, like, they had
you were able to understand.
They had a goal conflict, and they had a way to end points.
The pacing was fast, but it didn't feel jarring either. Like, as long as you were paying attention, it's like the story wasn't going to get away from you, or it wasn't going to
definitely.
it wasn't going to stop suddenly to deal with a problem that wasn't important, and it wasn't moving too fast to just make you not realize that something was going on. But you definitely had to pay attention to it.
Yeah, it felt like a flowing stream. Just had to stay on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, what would be you guys' first impressions to someone who would want to go see it?
Oh, I think it's a great movie to go watch.
Well, from someone who's read the books...
Chris, what about your perspective from someone who would read a book? Would you recommend this as someone who's read the book?
There are enough smart and well-placed references that you can appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, they covered enough of important points in the story that it was still enjoyable. So I would say that even someone who's read the books can enjoy it. It's not the same as the books, but it's pretty close.
I think it's good. I mean, it's fun to watch. Go watch it.
Yeah. Anything for you, Daniel?
I thought it was a great movie. It got my heart. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up for
All
sure.
Right. Excellent. Well, I guess that'll just about cover it. So keep an eye on the channel for more of We Saw a Movie and all that, and
keep it out
watch
for us.
The Dark Tower.
Indeed. All right.
See you next time.
Later.